Hello again, Aries. It's June 2016. Didichi here with your monthly astrology forecast. It's astrology, but I like to focus on just a couple of key elements for you. And it's important because we see this month a very powerful new moon in your third house taking place in the first week of the month. And on the 13th, a move of Mercury into this segment. So this third house has everything to do with your communication style, the way you talk to people, also the way you think. So the patterns of thinking, if you really analyze it, words come out after you actually have a thought. And if you're careful enough to catch the way you're thinking, you will develop a great deal of control in controlling others, in directing the course of those discussions to the way you want them to go. You might like to read up on some subjects such as hypnotic linguistics, neuro-linguistic programming, the way you can embed powerful sorts of speech cues in your conversation to achieve what you want. And that new moon is what does that. Now, that happens after the initial phase where you've got some rather difficult, what we call combustion of Venus. That's your marital planet, and it's burning up by being in close proximity to the Sun. Fortunately, the Sun moves rather quickly, and that leaves Venus free to congregate with Mercury when it enters into this same area on the 13th. So that's going to be a much nicer pattern, but maybe you needed some of those stresses either in your relationship or business partnership to affect this change. In any case, this can improve matters, and the Venus and Mercury conjunction is one of the loveliest there for poetry, music, dance, entertainment. So what can happen there is you'll start to realize, for example, that communication, and if you're like me, you use your hands a lot, communication is really only about 3 or 4% verbal. If you're aware enough, you'll see that people communicate with their body language, their eye movements, the types of clothes that they wear, the nuances. They also speak through silence. It's sometimes what's not said that's important. So I'd like you to keep that in mind. And this is a perfect month, perfect opportunity for you to really step up and improve your grades in the communications department. Now, speaking of your relationships, Venus, the Sun and Mercury have some very hard aspects. Right at the outset of the month, we see the Sun moving into the square of Neptune and the opposition of Saturn. This is a very, very hard aspect. That has to do with the Sun, which is ruling your fifth house of creativity, the inner child. But for some of you who are parents, this may also indicate a greater degree of responsibility needed, more time having to be allocated to your child. Or conversely, some lessons that you have to teach your child about taking more responsibility for themselves. You're only going to be able to do that effectively if you tap into the inner child within yourself. So that's why there is a link. It's funny that that fifth house, the sector of your horoscope that's ruled by the Sun, that fifth house, not only rules children, offspring, but it rules the inner child, creativity. And when you look at these two facets of life, children do seem to, especially in their young age, be very much in the moment. And when you are creating, you yourself are in the moment. You don't give too much thought to time or space. You're just absolutely locked into the zone. And that is one of the lessons for you this month. You've had some pretty intense things going on in your work because of Pluto there. You need some outlet. For those of you, especially if you guys, but girls as well, if you've been too preoccupied with work, you may have forgotten all about your exercise regime. You could be letting yourself go a little bit. So the fifth house is about that as well. Fifth house is the competitive house. It's the sports house. So that could be an area where you start to feel a lot more productive, a lot better physically. So allocate some time to that and do reconnect with the inner child within yourself. Your main ruling planet, that is Mars, has been going in retrograde motion in the 8th house in the sign of Scorpio. This is a bit of a tough position. It has to do with finances, shared resources in particular. On the 30th, it actually moves into its forward motion again. So whatever delays you've experienced there, Mars is a good planet for you personally, but it can bring some problems in terms of money, loans, bank managers, insurances, that type of thing. Clean all that stuff up now so that you can have peace of mind for the rest of the month. And I hope to catch you here again next month. Don't forget, take another look at astrology.com.au. We have more information on what's coming up in June. We have the daily readings and we have the year-end focus as well for you. So you can put all of this in context and see exactly where you're going and how to maneuver that life path of yours. Till next month, take care. And thanks again. I do appreciate you being here and listening to me month by month. Bye.